He's the smooth talking, chai drinking, banana eating, your favorite morning host, the host with the most, the one and only show host of the Borning Banana Show. It's Adam Josh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. It is May 31st, 2024. We're at Morning Banana Show number 180. We're out here in the mountains of Portugal. It is morning time. Sun is behind me. I'm half asleep, which is what makes this show interesting. I laughed this morning as I woke up. I was like, episode 180. It should be called the Borning Banana Show or the Banana Morning Show. No, that's the right way to say it. The banana boring show. The banana boring. The boring banana show. That's funny. Boring banana show. Yeah. So anyway, we're at 180. Clearly, I am not awake. Let's pour myself a coffee. Today, what I wanted to show you guys was the secret to my success when it comes to lattes. Recently, I found that one way to get the froth the way you want it is, it sounds silly, but go buy some if you're in Europe, go buy some chocolate. Sorry, go buy some vanilla milk for kids. It lasts in the fridge for a few days. Everyone wins. It tastes good. So you just basically are looking for a flavor that you like. In this case, it's soy vanilla, and then I use that for a couple days, leave it in the fridge, and then as to get the proper consistency, I've been talking about it on the Morning Banana Show a couple times, but it's one of these things. There's a really annoying fly that decided to join the show today. But hey, it just takes 2 batteries. I buy rechargeable batteries from IKEA, so they're AA batteries. 2 of them. If you get the rechargeable batteries from IKEA, then a charger, then you never have to worry about getting batteries again. So you just buy them once. I think this was €1, honestly. So I wanted to show that to you guys. I have a French press with nothing too fancy as far as coffee goes. Wow, that fly has balls. All right. French press, dark roast coffee. I understand. I understand what's going on with this fly. I am the coolest thing out here. And probably the tastiest thing out here right now. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Go find something else, my friend. So this is the creamer I was telling you about. So it's I really just heated it up. There's a certain amount where you're heating creamer where you overheat it and burn it. So don't do that. I'm using like propane gas. And you want to find that happy medium balance where you're heating it up, and when it gets a little bit warm, you add the frother in, and then you wind up with a latte like that. You see that? So because the milk is for children, it'll probably have some sweetness in it already. Gotta give them kids the sugar. I also have some dates. Yeah, so here we are in the mountains of Portugal. This is not gonna work with this coffee. I need like a table. That's the proper table. Maybe I'll do that. Get myself a proper table here. Banana from Madeira. So we went to last weekend we went to, I think it was Saturday, we went to a workshop from a local farmer's workshop. And they're calling it a fruit forest. They have different workshops that they run at the fruit forest. We went to the one where they are focused on their fruit forest on the farm and the Miyoki methods that they use to get it. Miyoki is a Japanese farmer, I guess, who traveled around the world implementing his ideas of how to farm for maximum yield, and found that there were certain ways that you could plant fruits and vegetables where they are like demonstratively healthier, girthier, grow faster. So they like to show, okay, look, in this section of the food forest, we're using the Miyoki method. In this section, we're using some other methods. Of course, when you're in Portugal, everybody's kind of, especially in the Algarve, you're starting out with roughly the same soil. They have rusticity scales, pH scales, the quality of soil scales that they will go through to mention, where they're at. So we learned a lot. I think unintentionally we already have like kind of not a banana circle, but more like a Miyoki method banana section going on here, because one of the things that the Miyoki method talks about is the differences in, you have your canopy trees, you have your the next level, which would be herbs and shrubs, and then you have the smaller things on the ground. So you have like 3 different main levels, and if you break down what you're planting into 3 main levels and plant them close together in proximity, there's certain distances and measurements. You're maximizing the space, and also using the chop and drop method, you're getting organic material back into the soil instead of constantly just making a one-way relationship with the soil and depleting it. And sometimes having plants that act together in that trifecta that I just mentioned is beneficial to the soil, the root system, good for shade. Some plants like shade, some plants like full sun. I'm calling them people because my plants are people. Anyway, we learned a lot. I'm still kind of processing all the stuff that we learned, all the information. It was a lot packed into a full day workshop, I'll be honest. I wanted to show you, see we talk about the oranges a lot. I wanted to show you this haul that Desiree got. The fly will not be the end of me. This is a Solero bag full of, it's just the fly is so big. He really wants to be on the show. He wants me to call it the morning fly show. He's right there. It's like a parrot or something. This is actually a lime, but it's actually a lemon, but it's not ripe, so it's green. Limes. It's basically full of limes. Limes. So one thing that grows very well here with like minimal intervention, there's an apricot here too. We're gonna germinate these apricot seeds. Little did the farmer lady know, but we're gonna do that. Here's a tiny lemon. Look at this guy. Yeah, so these, Desiree's already one step ahead. She's already spitting the seeds into the bag. Lady after my own heart. We tried tamarind for the first time. May 10th. May 18th, we germinated tamarind seedlings, and now if you look at my X account, they're about this tall. We have tamarind trees growing from the very first time that we tried tamarind. So when you're farming like us and you find something, when you find something that's local and organic and is growing well, then all your spidey senses are up and you're like, I should take this seed and germinate the seed. So I have 2 lemon trees on the property. I just wanted to show you guys lemons really as well. We can make lemonade out of all these lemons. I wanted to show you guys the lemons and say that, like, there are many things here in the Algarve in Portugal that grow very well without human intervention. I mean, obviously carob, olives, almonds, these trees that you see around me, nobody has been watering. I think before I was born, these trees were here and nobody was watering them. So there are plants here in the Algarve that are just kind of like resilient and have figured out their own way, because traditionally it's going to be rather dry here. And for example, yesterday, the temperature in our tiny home got over 100 Fahrenheit, or around at 100 Fahrenheit, but outside it was like 96. Today's going to be a bit cooler, but 300 days of sun doesn't lie. And if you follow me on X, or you're following these videos and you're like, what is this guy doing? It's no secret, you know, that Desiree and I had talked about for many years running a vegan farm stay, a vegan farm sanctuary, an off-grid vegan experience thing where people could come and learn about veganism and learn about gardening and planting in an immersion style way. So we've had a couple guests already. I don't want to shock you guys with if you build it, they will come. But, you know, if you build something, you know, eventually you'll find your people. And we have some guests that have been reaching out through the Instagram account that are on their way and setting dates for later in the year. And then people on X as well who are saying, oh, we're going to come, but we're going in a different direction right now. So don't be surprised when, you know, your boy has people coming to visit, and you might even visit one day and you might check out the farm with your own eyes. Don't be surprised that we built something cool and people are interested, because I mean, all the investments in my life that I've done, I don't think any of them have been probably as beneficial to the world and the people on it, the people and the animals, as veganism. I mean, you might think that sounds crazy, but let me grab a date and explain it to you. I've invested a lot of money. You know, I'm an investor, son of a businessman. I've put things into companies and lost them. I've made, all those are good dates. I think these are the ones from Algeria. Come on now. They're probably Algeria. Yeah, Tunisia, Algeria. Okay. I think they were warmed up, so they're juicy dates. I do like juicy dates. Turkish dates, Iranian dates, Saudi Arabian dates. If you're eating dates and they're tough as nails or like hard as a rock and dry, you're not eating the right dates. So find ones from like Iran, Tunisia. Like, dates should be like chewy candy from the gods. And it's out there. You just have to find it. If you don't know, you don't know. It's like, I thought I knew oranges before I came here. Oranges here, especially since they're like from a farmer like up the road until ours grow to be edible. We picked we're joking like, oh, farm to table, farm fresh, organic. You know, it doesn't get any fresher than you picked it yourself and are eating it now. My son Caden was saying, oh, I'm gonna peel it on the tree and then eat it on the tree. That'll be the freshest orange I've ever had. We're going for what is the freshest orange you've ever had. And then I handed him an orange seed and I said, that'll be the freshest orange you've ever had, because it's a whole tree. Now, he's seen them germinate. It's a whole tree in a seed. I don't know what I was saying. I was saying I've invested money. Obviously, as an investor, you invest money, you put money into things, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But as far as veganism goes, if you look up all the stats and reasons and logical, scientific reasons to go vegan, you'll find a bunch. Right off the top, I mean, you're saving animals' lives. Not that I consider myself some Superman hero for the animals, but obviously, every animal that I don't eat in my life is alive, thanks to me. Somebody else is definitely going to eat these animals for sure in the future, but until then, I'm contributing to a better future where at least immediately the animals are benefiting from my veganism. Do you understand? I know that somebody else is going to eat the cow and the chicken that I don't eat, but hey, I'm not contributing to it, so I'm giving my vote for a better future that way. Another thing that benefits from you going vegan are the plants, because you may or may not know this, but cows and chickens don't magically just get on your plate and grow into these full-size animals from babies. They don't just magically do it. So farmers like myself who grow food have to feed these animals until they get that big. And of course, while they're being fed, they're being injected with God knows what to keep them healthy for the meat eaters. So that's a whole other thing. You get pharmaceuticals. I don't know if that's, I know it's a word, but I don't know if it's a word in relation to farming. I'm also just waking up. Pharmaceuticals. That's hilarious. You're the product. We're farming you. Pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals. The P is silent. Anyway, so pharmaceuticals for the animals. And that's a whole other issue. People make money, obviously, from the pharmaceuticals. And so the plants that I would have been consuming are now I'm not consuming as being a vegan. So in the case of grains and corn and things that you would be feeding to regular run-of-the-mill livestock, I'm not eating anymore. So I'm saving plants in that sense. The amount of plants that are fed to the animals that you would in turn eat. So you're getting like a 2-for-1, but it's not even a 2-for-1. You're getting like a 3 or 4-for-1 when you go vegan. The 3-for-1 is the water. The amount of water that these animals consume by the time that you're ready to eat it, you don't even know. If you just sat and looked at your plate, if you're a regular meat eater and was like, where does all this food come from? You would be shocked. I think most people, if they knew where their food comes from and the whole history of how it got there, would probably go vegan or start growing the food on their own. I just think like I'm not the most logical person in the world, but even me, you could just have logical arguments for veganism and win people over. There was a point I think where I approached vegetarianism as a vegan over 10 years ago. I've been a vegan since 2013, and at first it was kind of just like logical reasons. I wanted to be healthy. I saw some animal agriculture videos. So the 4-for-1 after water would be the land. I mean, the land that you need to have animals. Unless you're in China where you're stacking pigs in condos, which is a whole other funny thing. It takes a lot of land. Like if you drive through rural America, as I have, you'll see that, or drive through California, drive through Tonawanda, Corning, New York, and you'll see they call it Corning because there's corn everywhere. There's land, swaths, and massive hectares and hectares of land dedicated to animal agriculture. So you have the land that's dedicated to growing the plants, obviously, and the water that goes with that. Then you have the land that's dedicated to actually physically housing the animals. And then you have their sewage. You have to deal with all their poop, which I guess goes with taking care of animals. But if you want to call it a 5-for-1 when you go vegan, you're not contributing to the massive pollution on the massive industrial, commercial farming, agricultural scale when you go vegan, because you're not eating or it's not on your account that there's all this piles and piles of animal sewage in the world anymore. I don't think that I'm going to make everyone vegan with my morning musings, but there's lots of reasons to go vegan. And here at the Lule Off-Grid Vegan Experience Farm Stay, we have a very specific project in mind where we're having a vegan food forest farm stay where we are using these methods like the Miyoki method, like permaculture. We're using these more holistic gardening methods. And on top of all that, because we just love challenges, we're also not using animal manure or animal byproducts like a lot of farmers, including vegetarian or even some vegan farmers, are doing. So we understand that it would be better in a lot of ways to go get horse manure and dump them around my banana plants and on our trees. You know what I mean? We understand that, but we're not going to do that. When you come visit us, I'm going to hold my head and my fedora up high and say, this is a vegan, an actually vegan farm stay. So, we planted these banana trees. The Morning Banana Show guys watch me. You can look back and see all how things are growing. Another cool thing that I discovered was one of at the farm that I went to, where I was learning about the Miyoki method of farming. The guys there in their food forest, they have a very specific way, two different main ways that they're growing bananas. One was a banana circle, where they've basically created an island and had like banana trees in a circle and then put all the compost in the middle and have sprinkler systems up top to water them when it gets too cold and the water is warmer. That was one method that they did that they found worked really well. And then another one, they had like a wall of bananas and papayas in between, I think. Of course, they had to build all their walls. It just came with the property because we have terraces. So a lot of the things that we were observing, we already have built into our farm in the mountains. We have the terraces already. So I have the shady section here that I'm sitting in. Otherwise, the sun would be beating right down on the screen and on my neck, and I wouldn't be able to sit here and do these morning shows with you in the morning. So one thing I learned from them is I asked, after looking at all these banana trees, I said, hey, I can see that some have the herb or the flower, some have the male appendage, and some are growing and budding. But like, when does that happen? Honest question. At what point does this become a banana tree? Because all I see right now are leaves. And he said, we've had so many banana trees, so many banana palms, all different varieties, and we've counted leaves. We got to the point where we were counting leaves because we didn't know either. So they figure at the 24th leaf is one average time it takes for the fruit to come up through the middle. So if you're counting here, I think this is the fourth one since we bought and planted this guy. The fourth or fifth one for Devani. So it's going to be a while for bananas at this rate. And this one is probably the same thing, third or fourth. I think this one might have put one or two more, so maybe 5 or 6. But we're still below 10 for sure. And then little Kim over here has given us, I think, 3. She's been really aggressive. She's like, I'm small, but I'm mighty. Oh, and they also told me, sadly, that once they produce fruits and I harvest them, I have to chop the remaining tree down to 1 meter. I think I said that on the last Morning Banana Show, but it's something that I'm having emotions about, to be honest. Another workshop that this same place does that I went to here in the Algarve is drought-resistant plants. I've been riffing on the whole drought situation and ranting about it on my X account. You might have seen. I just have a lot of issues when people say drought, especially if observedly you're surrounded by water. Call me crazy. You've heard my rants before. I don't want to repeat myself because the end of the rant is really, we're living in a time where humanity has prioritized oil over water. Dead people don't drive cars, so I'm not sure why humanity has decided to prioritize oil over water. or petroleum products over water because when you're dead, you're not going to be able to use the petroleum products. However, the people who sell the petroleum products, they don't have any issues with getting water. At the top, they're not worried about drinking water. So, in a radical reprioritization, humanity could take the infrastructure that's used for oil and repurpose it for drinking water. I don't want to blow your mind, but you know how you desalinate the ocean? You boil it in the biggest container you can find, if you want to, and capture the steam. And when the steam cools down, it's drinkable, unsalted water. I know that that's crazy for you. That's one way to desalinate the ocean. You literally just boil it and capture the steam. Another way is the various stages of membranes, which is, I think, the more popular method where it gets a little bit costly. So they always talk about the costs associated with desalinating the ocean. But if you're dead, I mean, that's a pretty big cost. You've heard my rants before. But anyway, if humanity could, reprioritize drinkable water over oil, I think that'd be a good step forward for humanity. So, I know how to desalinate water. I was desalinating and distilling my drinking water for 5 years of living in my last house. All the water that we drank mainly was distilled water. I was distilling tap water because of all the chemicals added to the drinking water in Niagara. But it's the same thing. You boil the solids usually will concentrate the bottom of the pan, scoop them all out, and just mainline them if they're so healthy for you. I don't mainline them. That'd be funny though. But you can scrape it off in like powder forms or like sludge. In this case, if you're desalinating the ocean, the bottom of these heaters, the bottom of the pans and near the heater would be covered in salt, which you could sell. And that is what they do. In countries like Israel, that mainly are desalinating, the byproduct is salt, and they sell it as Dead Sea salt to yuppies in Canada, yuppies in America. But why pay for salt when you have it there? You know what I mean? I have a whole plan for the olives when we're harvesting them here. I'm going to boil some ocean water to get the bacteria out if there's anything living in it, and keep it. I'll only boil it for like 5 minutes, so it's still briny, brackish ocean water. And then I'm going to score my olives, whatever comes down from here, green, I'm assuming green olives. There's so many olive trees around me. And then I'm going to put them in the jar. And I'm going to put my private label on them, which I'm not telling you guys yet. And then you can buy them. You can buy olives from Love Farmstay. How cool is that? Because, like, olives matter. So, that's about it. I'm going to finish up my coffee here, and then we'll get to something else today. There's always fun things to do at the farm. Thank you for watching the Morning Banana Show number 180. If you feel like supporting us, you can book a visit to Portugal, fly into the Faro International Airport. Come see me. You could also pre-order my book, which I'm working on, a radical investment book. I'm still looking to find a printer here, like a print shop where that'll print the book. And you can follow me on X. You can follow at adamjosh.com. You can follow the Farmstay on Instagram at l.o.v.e.farmstay. I don't use Instagram, but I think it's love Farmstay is the handle. But all right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching.